Dungeon and Richwoods Community High School. Clutch Sports IL is on the air for IHSA 3A girls sectional basketball between the Geneseo Maple Leafs and the Washington Panthers. Good evening, everybody. Alongside Brock Stotler, I'm Gavin Russell. Brock, this is going to be a great matchup, a loaded sectional here in Peoria. On the other side of the bracket, Galesburg and Peoria High, which we'll see later. But first and foremost, we've got Geneseo and Washington, sure to be a great matchup.
Yeah, absolutely. And Gavin, this is a rematch of last year's sectional semifinals that saw Washington knock off number one seeded Geneseo 61-51 when Geneseo was the number one seed at 31-2 last year. So Geneseo looking for a little bit of revenge this year. Both teams come into this game hot on some win streaks. So, Gavin, we are in for a great night of basketball here tonight.
We surely are, and you mentioned Geneseo being very good last year. We'll talk about how good they've been this season. 27-6, 11-3, first place in the Western Big Six. On the other side, the Washington Panthers have also been stout, 23-4 and 13-1 in the Mid-Illini Conference. Both teams have been excellent this season. How about the starting lineups for both teams? Starting out, freshmen. We'll start with Washington, the visiting team on the scoreboard wearing black. Avery Tibbs, the freshman guard, wearing number 2. She's out there with Bradley commit Claire McDougall, wearing number 3 and senior. Their sister, freshman, number 5, Becca McDougall. Senior Carly Vaughn, number 23. And Addie Kimmler, number 13, rounding it out as the Panthers win the tip. For the Maple Leafs, we'll start out with Addie Mills. She's out there with Annie With as ball's tipped out of bounds. So saying Annie Worth, the senior, wearing number 24. Bringing it up right now is Danette Beach, wearing number 22. Mia Kelly, number 14, a junior. And trying to see who's rounding it out there. Shot no good there from the Maple Leafs. Here come the Panthers. McDougall over to McDougall. First shot is up and good. The sisters' connection. Rounding it out is Caitlin Seaman for the Maple Leafs. Took me a minute to figure that out, Brock, but we got it rounded out now. Panthers off to a 2-0 start, and it's been kind of a sloppy first minute of play. Both teams not really able to hold on to the ball, but Panthers lead 2-0.
Yeah, absolutely, and you see, the sister-to-sister connection on the other end for Washington. Claire McDougall really took over things for Washington in their previous victory last round as she against Peoria Notre Dame, as she really shut down Maya Wordle offensively, made things difficult for her, and really had her way on the offensive end of the floor, well over 20 points in a dominating effort. And all eyes will be on her tonight, Gavin.
Indeed they will, and McDougall had 27 points in that regional championship against a very good Peoria Notre Dame team who, in the round prior, had taken down Morton in a big victory. Here come the Maple Leafs. Mia Kelly getting the Maple Leafs on the board.
Hand down, woman down there, Gavin. Carly Vaughn, too much space there for Kelly. Knocks down the triple right in her eye. Good first basket there for Geneseo as they're on the board now.
Here's Vaughn. Geneseo not allowing any room on the outside. They know how well freshman Avery Tibbs and company can hit threes. Tipped away, and it'll stick with the Panthers.
And Gavin, we had ourselves some high-scoring action in this matchup last year. 61-51 in favor of Washington was the final score. And if the rest of the game is any indication of how it's been here early, we're in for a rock fight.
Right in, Tibbs, nifty inbound play right there, and just the freshman is Avery Tibbs, but she is such a heads-up player.
Absolutely. She hit some big shots in that PND game, too, in that first half as well, including a big one right before halftime to give Washington some momentum going into the half. And she's going to be one of those X factors for the Washington Panthers here today, Gavin.
There's Tibbs again.
Right on cue. And you know, the teams that make it past these rounds, Gavin, are deeper than just their best player. And certainly for case of Washington and Geneseo, we're going to see who beyond their star players can step up tonight and will their team at a chance to win a sectional title Thursday night.
Indeed, there's Vaughn grabbing the rebound. Panthers up 6-5. Vaughn right down the lane, up and no good. Kimmler gets the board, hard off the glass, and Geneseo takes it in. Both teams moving very fast-paced in this game. Maple Leafs drive inside, up and fouled. It's going to be 2 shots for Danette Beach. And Beach already with a basket in this game. She'll shoot 2. And Claire McDougall picks up the foul right there, but kind of on the flip side of things, in their regional championship game against P&D, Claire McDougall was fouled an astonishing 13 times in that matchup. They're picking up the foul right there. But I do expect to see some physicality that'll lead to a lot of foul shots.
Yeah, absolutely. She was very aggressive in that P&D game, was not settling for really anything from the outside. Put her head down and was attacking to the rim, got to the free throw line numerous times throughout that game. And like I said earlier, really put her team on her back and willed them to that victory.
Low post, Becca McDougall, it's lost. Kimmler will grab it. Vaughn throws it up and no good. McDougall with the football catch but couldn't put it in.
McDougall and Kimmler here on back-to-back possessions for Washington, missing some bunnies inside as they've really gotten whatever they want in the paint so far early, just haven't been able to get their shots to fall.
Head coach for the Maple Leafs, Scott Hardison, was not happy about the travel call. Seen a few turnovers in the early going. Brock Stotler and Gavin Russell here on the call. Washington and Geneseo, sectional basketball.
You mentioned Coach Scott Hardison for Geneseo, Gavin. Since Geneseo moved over to the Western Big Six 4 years ago, they have won 4 straight conference titles, so have entered conference play with a bang and have set the standard for everybody else. That includes Galesburg, who we'll see a little bit later tonight as they match up with Peoria High.
McDougall down to Kimmler. Kimmler another chance on the inside. Just can't get it to go. Off-balance shot. Kimmler not able to strike. Other way, Beach. Block is the call. Carly Vaughn picks up the foul. Beach already on her second trip to the line coming up.
Yeah, good attack mode here early from Beach, doing a good job of getting right to the rim, forcing Washington to foul her, and getting a chance to add some points here at the free throw line.
Beach will get ready to shoot 2 shots. First one is up and good. Get a couple substitutions here. Anna Kreiner in for the Maple Leafs, as is Allison Griffin.
And I believe it was Emma Heidbreder who's in for Kimmler for Washington. I believe it's 22 in black.
Heidbreder Jr. for the Panthers. Vaughn, nowhere to go with it. Nearly a 5-second call. Vaughn down the lane, up and in, gets a spinner to go. She's one of the more aggressive players I've seen. She's not afraid to take it anywhere.
Yeah, absolutely not. Not just a three-point shooter. She can certainly get it done out there from behind the arc as well, but many facets to her game, can beat you in a numerous different ways. And she's on the board here for Washington, as both teams have been really patient offensively, working for a good shot every time down the floor.
Both defenses have been very good in the early going. Up and tough take, no good. Offensive board, throws it back up, no good. McDougall comes down with it on the floor and gets it out to Tibbs. Tough shot right there on the offensive board by Allison Griffin. Other way we go. Tibbs was nearly open for 3.
I'm surprised she didn't let that one fly, Gavin. She doesn't hesitate very often, and there she is right there.
Couldn't get that one to go. Avery Tibbs is lethal from behind the arc.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're Geneseo, have to know where 2 in black is at all times. Even just an inch of space, and she'll let it fly. And more times than not, she'll beat you.
Gotta keep an eye, though, if you're Washington, on Allison Griffin, 42 in white. She throws up 2 points right there. There's Tibbs, open again, can't get it to go. Heidbreeder saves it, but she was out of bounds.
Good hustle there by Heidbreeder, trying to save the ball for Washington. Unfortunately, just steps out of bounds. Ball goes back to Geneseo as Washington's come up empty here, gone dry, been stuck on 8 for a little while here, Gavin.
As good as Washington has been, probably a lot of our viewers are familiar with the Panthers. Geneseo has also been very good. We saw them in the State Farm Holiday Classic, had coverage of all of those games, including the later rounds. Geneseo had some good success down there. Up, no good, pulled down by Heidbreeder, but stolen away. Miscue. Here come the Maple Leafs. Inside. Back out to Worth. Low post. Griffin.
And Gavin, one of the amazing things about this Geneseo team that I found when I was doing a little bit of research on them before the game, you know, they weren't necessarily supposed to be as good as they were this year. You know, they lost, they lost 3 senior starters from last year's team, and that included All-Stater Cammie Ludwig. So what was supposed to be a rebuild year in Geneseo turned into a retool year, and they added another conference title to the trophy case. As Washington really struggling from outside here early in the first quarter, as both teams struggling to get it going on offense.
33 seconds to go. Geneseo has an opportunity to maybe take the last shot. We'll see if they do. As you mentioned, a retool year, and maybe 27-6, not quite as good, but still outstanding. Very, very good team. Drive it in, throws it, nobody's home, and out of bounds. So now Washington has the last shot, or a chance for it at least. Where do you go, Brock? 10 seconds left.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you got to get the ball in Claire McDougall's hands. Maybe get a ball screen for it. Maybe see if she can find one of these shooters in Tibbs or Redenschleifer on the outside here. Try and tie it up. Get a little bit of momentum before the second quarter starts.
7 now, 6 on the clock. Gives it off to McDougall. Got to make something happen. They find Tibbs. She was open for 3. Got it to go. Avery Tibbs at the horn. What did you say, Brock? Looking for Tibbs, and she ties this ball game up at 11.
You know, I hate to say I told you so, Gavin, but in this instance, I love it. And, I think, good play there from Washington. Got a little bit of momentum here going into the second quarter, get the stop, and then get the basket right before the horn. That's a huge play in this game.
Sure is. We're going to take a quick break before the second quarter. Our great sponsor at Updrain.
Find your next used car at every Updrain Auto Group dealer with a diverse selection for everyone. Many with low miles and remaining factory warranties. You'll feel good about your Updrain used car because if we wouldn't sell it to our family, we wouldn't sell it to you. UpdrainAutoGroup.com.
Real Estate Group, becoming a real wife that's too tired for date night. Sunflower gave me my life back. Sunflower Real Estate Group, the brightest spot in real estate.
Thanks to Updrain for sponsoring tonight's contest. Appreciate them. Also like to give a shout out to our great sponsors at Domino's. Everyone wins when you eat Domino's. Over 20 area locations spread across Central Illinois. Here they even have locations up near Galesburg. You might have some Galesburg viewers tuning in tonight. 4 Peoria area locations. Make sure to stop in and check out your local Domino's for your pizza fix. Back to the action, 11-11. Up and in. What a tough take right there. Worth gets the scoring started, but ended the first quarter, Brock, with a Avery Tibbs 3, just as you had predicted. Miscue by Geneseo, but they get back on it, take the lead again. McDougall kicks out. Moving it around. Tibbs finds the other McDougal, and it's lost out of bounds. Not keeping track of turnovers, Brock, but both teams have had a few of them.
Yeah, absolutely. A little bit of sloppy play here in the first half. Gavin, a couple miscues, maybe some nerves here, from both teams. Sectional semifinals, a lot of fans in the house tonight. Certainly could be nerves here in the early going.
Great contingent from Geneseo has traveled down.
Yeah, I'm just kind of thinking there wasn't too many of them when we started the broadcast, but they keep filing in on both sides of us here. And if they keep doing so, there's not going to be a whole lot of room left in this place. We're gonna have a jam-packed house tonight.
They had to pull the second set of bleachers out right behind us to support the crowd, as the lower section here at the Dungeon was nearly full. So a few people moving to the upper sections. It's what playoff basketball is all about. Tibbs for three. No good. She's missed a couple, but again, she can continue to fire.
And McDougal in more of a facilitator role here early for Washington, looking to find her teammates with some passes. Geneseo doing a good job, obviously, on defensively on McDougal, not letting her get whatever she wants offensively.
McDougal can kind of do it all. Great on both ends of the floor. That's why she's headed to Bradley University next season.
I think one of her parts of her game that's a little maybe underrated, Gavin, is her ability to lock up on the defensive end of the floor. And if you tuned into that game against PND last week, she really was bothering Maya Wardle all game, held the junior standout scoreless until the fourth quarter in that game when it was well out of hand in Washington's favor. So really did a good job of neutralizing PND's best player in that game.
No good. Tibbs just off the front iron. McDougal cleans up the glass, gets it to go, and you mentioned the defensive efforts, but she can get it done on offense too. Again, 27 points, regional championship. Worth takes it inside. Worth impressed me when we saw them back in the State Farm Holiday Classic. Geneseo took some big wins against Morton. Normal West were a couple of their wins in that tournament. Kimmler tipped away.
Worth had a couple nice baskets here for Geneseo to start the second quarter here. She's done a nice job inside against this Washington defense.
Here comes McDougal. Steps back, long two, makes it look easy. I think she's been in the gym practicing that one.
I think so. It certainly looks like, Gavin, she's got that ball on a string when she puts it wherever she wants it to go, and she's kind of woken up here on offense. 4 quick points in the second quarter for McDougal, her first 4 of the game.
3 on the way, no good from Kelly. Hauled in, down court pass. Tibbs thought about a 3, but she's gonna drive up and in for 2. Hey, can't hit it for 3, maybe a cold start to the game. Take it inside and get an easy 2.
Very nice play there by Tibbs. Puts the ball on the deck, gets right to the rim. Soft touch around the rim for the freshman. Washington back in front here. And boy, that one all but in there, Gavin. Oh my goodness, the toilet bowl.
Every part of the rim. Kimmler can't get it to go. Now Geneseo comes the other way, trying to tie or take the lead. Up, blocked by McDougal. Here we go the other way. Track meet, Richwoods High School. Here's McDougal. She'll slow it down a little bit. A few subs coming into the next dead ball about halfway through the second quarter. Down to McDougal. Facilitator and timeout taken by Geneseo as Washington gets the 4-point lead, but sister connection right there is hooked up a couple times. Gets Washington 4-point advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. Claire McDougal on a mini 6-0 run here. 2 baskets and the assist there. 6 straight points as Washington has now jumped out to a 4-point lead, as this has been the McDougal's quarter here in Richwoods.
Get a look there at Geneseo. Scott Hardison has had some great teams with the Maple Leaf program. As on the other side, Kim Barth and her coaching staff have done a great job. Both teams over 20 wins on the season. Geneseo will inbound. Maybe a little confusion with who's in the game.
Yeah, I'm not sure what they're talking about here. It looks like, yeah, maybe confusion. Someone didn't check in or show their number.
Caitlin Seaman looks like she'll jump in for the Maple Leafs. Now we got 5 and 5 from each team.
The one thing about this Washington team that you've really seen, if you've watched them play throughout the season, just the youth up and down this roster between Tibbs, Becca McDougall, Redling Schaefer, as well as Maisie O'Brien, 4 freshmen that get significant minutes in this lineup for Washington. So the trust that Coach Kim Barth has in those young players just shows how deep this Washington team is this year and has the potential to be in the years to come.
Exactly right. Here's Vaughn, got the block on the other end. Redling Schaefer drives inside, out to Becca McDougall, head fake, steps in for 2, off the iron, no good. But you mentioned really good freshmen for Washington. Something that we have to clarify, I guess we've gotten wrong a couple times. Those 4 freshmen didn't all come from the same school, so get a block right there on Vaughn, but coming into high school, several feeder schools from around Washington, Washington Middle. Trying to think of the other one. I know Becca McDougall came from St. Pat's. So they all kind of converge, maybe foes during middle school, now teammates in high school, but hey, that's what it's all about. Come together in the community and play for the hometown school.
Yeah, absolutely. A chance to bring some hardware to their hometown high school here in Washington as these two teams looking to continue their tournament run here toward a sectional title.
2 free throws up and good by Geneseo. Carly Vaughn for 3, got it to go. Carly Vaughn can't hit from deep. Other way, shot right there, didn't wait long, Addie Mills.
That was a long 2 from Mills, though, I do believe. Was it? They think they counted it as a 3.
That should be a 2.
That's what I thought that was a 2 initially, ruled as a 3 on the scoreboard.
We're going to stick with 22-19, unless my eyes do deceive me. They have 20 on the scoreboard right now. That might change come next dead ball. McDougall throws it over. Tibbs. Vaughn wide open, top of the key. Nothing but Nyla.
And the junior dials up from long range, back-to-back for Washington. The Panthers out extended to a 5-point lead now as Carly Vaughn with a steal now. The junior has come alive here in the second quarter. Down the lane, Vaughn. Boy, I think the roof would have came off this place, Gavin, if she would have found a way to flip that in.
Charge on the other way. They're going to get something to be excited about right there. Big student section, Orange Crush, showing out on the Tuesday night. Some Washington boys basketball players who will play tomorrow in their regional matchup. I spot Micah Brewer, Braden Vanderheit, amongst others.
You love the inter-squad support, Gavin. You know, the boys' team supporting the women's team supporting the boys' team.
What it's all about. Claire McDougall, as they do change it on the scoreboard, Brock, 25-19, so it is a 6-point lead for the Panthers. McDougall gives McDougall a screen. Bit of a mismatch. Claire drives inside, up and out. It was almost in there, but couldn't quite fall.
About 3/4 of the way down, just popped out there for McDougall.
Foul on the floor. Looks like Claire McDougal will pick a foul up. Doesn't love it. Hand check is the call. That's her second of the game. Nothing of huge concern for Kim Barth, a minute 11 to go, but she could pick up a third. That would be detrimental.
Yeah, absolutely. Got to be smart here after McDougal. She knows that. Veteran, senior. She knows she's got two and has got to be careful. And it looks like Kim Barth will take her out of the game. You know, I don't necessarily I like that decision on her part, Gavin. You are up 6 here. You do have a little bit of a cushion. You can kind of protect her on the bench here, just ensure that she doesn't pick up that third foul.
Kim Barth says spread out. And with under a minute to go now, Brock, you absolutely want to take a good shot, but do you consider maybe chewing some clock?
I think you absolutely do. I think that's kind of what they're doing here. Just a little bit of a motion offense, constantly moving. 5 shooters on the floor for Washington. So anybody here capable of beating you if you're Geneseo, so got to be on the lookout for that.
Again, it can just take one little miscue and a turnover right there. So they chewed some clock, but 28 seconds more than enough time. McDougal on the bench. Opportunity to cut this back down to possibly a one-possession game.
And you saw it with Geneseo in the first quarter, Gavin. They had a little bit of a mental mistake that led to the turnover that led to a Washington basket right before the end of the first quarter. Let's see if Geneseo can capitalize on Washington's miscue and get a bucket in their favor before the second quarter. They cannot. Good steal there by Avery Tibbs.
Tibbs, Claire McDougal, Breling Schaefer steps in off the front iron. 8 seconds now. Maple Leafs charging up. Worth spins hard off the glass, tried to get it back. Last second shot and a foul with 0.4 seconds.
Good effort and hustle there by Allison Griffin, not giving up on the play. Geneseo gets about 3 looks at the basket there. Finally, Griffin able to draw a foul, is rewarded with a pair of free throws here before the half.
And she'll hit the first one, so can cut it down to a 4-point game with the second free throw. Up and in. Favorable rim right there, and 0.4. Tibbs will hold it into the halftime locker room. It's a close one as we expected. Washington up 25-21 at the halftime break over Geneseo. It was 11-11 at the end of one. Brock, some first half takeaways. We'll start with Geneseo. They're 4 points behind, but really played that last minute as best as they possibly could, making it just a 4-point game heading into halftime.
Yeah, absolutely. It feels like every time Washington looks to build a little bit of momentum and looks like they might be starting to pull away, Geneseo slams the door with a couple big buckets of their own. Getting it done in that quarter for him was Addie Worth, as well as Allison Griffin. For Geneseo down 4 here, I think you're very happy with that going into halftime.
Sure would. If you're Washington, on the other hand, the McDougal sisters have been getting it done. Avery Tibbs have had a couple nice buckets. You're in front by 4, just need a little bit more momentum.
Yeah, absolutely. You saw Carly Vaughn come alive there in that second quarter. It's really been a 3 or 4-headed monster for Washington here in this first half, whether it be the McDougals, Tibbs, or as we just mentioned, Carly Vaughn. So very balanced scoring from Washington and really from Geneseo too. So if you're Washington, just cut down on a couple of those turnovers. You're doing a good job on the other end of forcing turnovers and forcing Geneseo into tough shots. So if you're Washington, just more of the same, win the quarters.
And it's Chuck-a-duck. You can look there at midcourt. Looks like, no, there is no duck in there. My eyes deceived me for a second. No more ducks to be thrown, apparently. Oh, one more late entry, just a bit outside.
Couple late entries here.
Getting close. It's a gift card on the line. Sounds pretty good. We're going to take a quick break, but here in a minute, we'll First, tell you about our great sponsor, Domino's.
Find your perfect used car at every Uftring Auto Group dealer. All-wheel drive SUVs, hard-working trucks, economy, muscle, luxury, and more. You'll feel good when you buy an Uftring used car.
Great pizza and wings.
Find your perfect used car at every Uftring Auto Group.
26 for a 20%
Perfect used car at every Uftring Auto Group dealer. All-wheel drive SUVs, hard-working trucks, economy, muscle.
Illinois and 4 in Peoria. Make sure to check out Domino's for your pizza fix tonight or any night coming up this week. Lots of great basketball to watch. We're going to step aside for a quick break. With Uftring, we'll be back for more action in the IHSA here from Richwoods High School.
Used car at every Uftring Auto Group dealer. All-wheel drive SUVs, hard-working trucks, economy, muscle, luxury, and more. You'll feel good when you buy an Uftring used car, because if we wouldn't sell it to our family, we wouldn't sell it to you. UftringAutogroup.com.
Welcome back to Richwoods High School. Gavin Russell and Brock Stotler on the call with you tonight. IHSA 3A girls basketball sectional action coming your way. First half of play is over. Just a couple minutes shy of half number 2. Before we get into some recap, let's get a quick word for our great sponsor, Domino's. If you're feeling hungry like I am right about now, some Domino's sounds pretty good. Let's check out your local Domino's location. 20 of them in the Central Illinois area, even up to Galesburg, I hear. 4 in and around Peoria, over in Pekin, so no matter where you're at, stop by for some Domino's. They've got some new stuff, loaded tots to go with their classic favorites, pizza, wings, all the fixins. Make sure to stop by Domino's for your pizza fix. Brock Stotler, it was an interesting first half, a lot of back and forth action. A few sloppy plays, some turnovers here and there, but for the most part, it's about everything you expect with high-level sectional basketball.
Yeah, absolutely. Both teams trading a couple punches there in the first half. Washington landing just a few more, went into halftime with that 4-point lead. I think Washington snatched a little bit of momentum at the end of the first quarter when Tibbs hit that 3 off the McDougal feed after Geneseo turned it over. That allowed Washington to tie things up going into the second quarter. Beach leading the way for Geneseo, kind of balanced scoring really for both teams. For Geneseo, Beach as well as Worth leading the way for them. And for Washington, it's been the freshman Tibbs, Becca McDougal, as well as Claire McDougal and Carly Vaughn. Vaughn hit a couple really big shots there in that second quarter, and Tibbs has been big all game as she leads all scorers with 9.
Indeed, great points right there, Brock Stotler. Second half starting lineups, a bit of a change from the opening tip for Geneseo. Hannah Kreiner, the sophomore, is out there with Caitlin Seaman. Danette Beach, Annie Worth, and Allison Griffin, the 5 for the Maple Leafs. For Washington, pretty similar to what they went with the first half. Start the game, the McDougals, Carly Vaughn, Addie Kimmler, and Avery Tibbs. Up and in, second chance, Worth can't get it to go. Kimmler fought for it, got it out. A little slow to get up his Worth. Here comes Claire McDougal, drives in with the right, steps around. Kimmler gets the board, out to Tibbs, open for 3, got it to go.
Best time to shoot a 3 is off an offensive rebound, Gavin. Addie Kimmler crashing the glass. Patient with it, finds Tibbs wide open in the corner. Geneseo leaves Tibbs open once again, and Tibbs makes him pay yet again.
She loves the corners. She could pitch a 10 over there. She hits from the corners at a pretty high percentage. I'd be curious to see what the season totals are because I got to imagine it's really high. Carly Vaughn had her shot blocked, gets it back from McDougal off the rim and out.
And look
Addie Kimmler.
Yeah, look at Kimmler. Last 2 possessions, getting dirty down there underneath the rim. Gets Washington 2 extra possessions. Tibbs was rewarded with a kick-out 3 on the last one. Now Kimmler with a chance at the free throw line here to get herself on the board here in the third period.
Addie Kimmler. She's had a couple of really close chances, Brock. It's not been a matter of not getting opportunities. She misses the first free throw. But while she's maybe not having the best offensive game, she's still finding ways to get involved, and scoring isn't always everything.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's just the culture that, both these programs have, even when one of your key players isn't having a strong night on the offensive end of the floor. They're finding ways to make winning plays and contribute, whether it's attacking the glass, making a smart pass, or playing good defense. Those players finding ways to impact the game even when they're not having an impact in the box score.
Worth steps up for 2, first Geneseo points of the second half. Remains a 6-point game. Geneseo led for much of the first quarter. Kind of got off to a fast start, but it's been mostly Washington since. Down, Kimmler finds her first basket of the game. She had a free throw, but now gets on the board. She's got 3.
Nice quick passing there by Washington. Becca to Claire. Claire snap pass to Kimmler, who gets a wide open layup. Nice possession here for Washington, and a really nice start to the second half here for Washington.
Indeed.
And Kimler wide open again. Vaughn just a little late seeing her there. No matter. Can't leave her open, Gavin. Claire McDougall. And this Washington crowd is starting to come to life here, Gavin, as they have gotten off to a huge, huge start here in the third quarter.
9-2 run for the Panthers in the first 2 minutes of the second half. Claire McDougall knocks down a three, and kind of going back to what you mentioned, Carly Vaughn had a player open right there in the paint, but hey, I guess it worked out in the end. Claire McDougall wide open from the wing.
Boy, that's how you know when things are going right. If you're Washington, you miss a chance for a wide open layup. No matter, your Carly Vaughn gathers herself, gathers the ball, calm, cool, collected, delivers it to Claire McDougall on the opposite wing, and she drills it. What a possession for Washington, coming out hot here in the third quarter. And if you're Geneseo, back on your heels, got to find Worth, got to find Beach, and got to get baskets from one of those two here to stop this Washington run.
Got to find a way to clutch up in a situation like this. Again, sectional basketball, and any playoff basketball for that matter, it's all on the line. That's a given. It can come down. One game can end your season. Whether you say, we should have played a little better, doesn't matter. You got to play good each game in the playoffs. And if you want a chance for a sectional title, got to win tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're Geneseo and Washington, you never want to leave anything out on the floor. Never leave a doubt or a what if. You want to leave it all out here tonight.
Mills hits the shot right there, and again, that's probably as good as you want coming out of the timeout. Quick bucket.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice look there from Geneseo. Good shot from Mills, knocks it down. Big basket for the Leaves here. Good hustle there by Worth. Let's see if Geneseo can get a little bit of momentum.
Worth with a great play right there, tipped it out. Didn't really have a driving lane as Carly Vaughn got back. Still trying to force some steals and things. Geneseo trying to kick up the aggressiveness a little bit on defense. We haven't seen hardly any fouls in this game. McDougall drives up and in off the glass. Addie Kimler again down to Tibbs, and Addie Kimler is the unsung hero tonight, cleaning the glass with precision.
My goodness, the senior saving the best for last here in the sectional semifinals. 3 big offensive rebounds in the third period here has led to 3 baskets for Washington. And Tibbs with 5 points in the second half. She's up to a game-high 14 now, the only one in double figures here tonight.
Tibbs is an impressive freshman, going to be around for years to come for the Panthers. 15 in the regional championship on last Thursday, I believe it was. Blocked away. Geneseo comes out with it.
And Kimler's done that a couple times where she just flashes wide open right underneath the rim. And Carly Vaughn getting it done on both ends of the floor. Steps up, takes one in the chest there. Offensive foul for Geneseo. Ball back to Washington with a chance to extend the lead that's now ballooned up to 11 quickly here in the third period.
And this game was tied at 11 at the end of the first quarter. It was a 4-point lead for Washington at the end of the second. So a 7-point swing here for the Panthers. Panthers actually lost in this gym not too long ago. The host Knights. Vaughn, tough take right there, but Washington lost here against Richwoods 42-45. Just trying to reverse the trend, and one right there as Geneseo trying to reverse the trend. Washington had been setting, and Worth will get a chance to complete the old-fashioned 3-point play.
Nice move there by Worth, getting a little bit of a circus shot to fall there. Old-fashioned 3-point play, unable to convert at the free throw line. But a couple looks at the rim and a couple good looks in this third quarter for Geneseo that they have just been unable to get to fall here.
Tough matchup. Again, as you mentioned earlier, a lot of pressure on both of these teams. Got to imagine that's playing an effect. And Vaughn will lose the ball. Washington fans thought it was tipped out, but it looked like Vaughn just mishandled.
Yeah, absolutely. Not a whole lot. You saw the look on her face. She knew it. She kind of lost it out of bounds there. One of the few turnovers for either team here in this game. A pretty clean game for the most part for both teams, foul-wise as well.
Three-pointer. Bank is open Tuesday night. Hannah Kreiner, the sophomore. Now it's just an 8-point game. Geneseo starting to get the momentum to come their way. Here's a steal by Worth. Over Kreiner. Oh, stolen away. Missed opportunity right there, but again, Geneseo coming along, starting to pick it up.
A good shot there by Kreiner, just a little bit passive there on the fast break, passing it up. Good hustle by Tibbs to not give up on it.
And going the other direction.
I think 3 seconds maybe?
No, it's going to be an Avery Tibbs offensive foul. So an illegal screen or a push-off will give Geneseo the ball back. Big time for a bucket for the Maple Leafs. Nearly traveled. Back off to Worth, and she loses it off her foot. Danette Beach kind of threw her hands up and was just, we had an opportunity, just couldn't get to go.
Yeah, a couple missed opportunities here for Geneseo when they've gotten some looks in transition, whether it be from a steal or a missed shot from Washington. They've been unable to cut into that lead any farther. Anytime they start to chip away, Washington does a good job of just pushing them away a little bit and keeping them at arm's length.
And let's get a quick word for our great sponsors at Domino's. 20 area locations and plenty of great food to choose from, including new loaded tots, in addition to all the pizza and wing classics. Make sure to check out your local Domino's location all across Central Illinois. 4 locations in Peoria, Pekin, and abroad. Domino's sounds pretty good to me right now, Brock Stotler, and maybe the winning team tonight will celebrate with some Domino's. Who knows?
Absolutely. Good victory supper for either one of these teams tonight. Whoever ends up coming out victorious, and really what's been some high-level basketball all night and is only going to get better as we got one more game left on the docket.
Doubleheader here at Richwoods High School tonight. Galesburg and Peoria High coming up in the next matchup. 2:22 to go in the third. Working inside. Back to Vaughn. Thought about a three. Drives inside, right down the lane, off the glass. McDougal out of bounds. While they didn't get that to go, I can tell that Kim Barth is telling her team to attack the glass.
Yeah, absolutely. They've really done a good job of hitting the offensive glass in this third quarter. Kimler has been the main culprit. She's stolen about 3 possessions back for Washington. McDougal there getting active on the glass. And that's certainly a point of emphasis for Washington in the fourth quarter.
Three-pointer didn't hit anything. Tibbs grabs it. She'll hear it from the Washington student section. Here's Worth, another steal. Timeout, Geneseo, 32nd. That is at least Worth's third steal all in this quarter. She is just trying to single-handedly will her team back into this game.
Yeah, absolutely. The senior doing everything she can to get Geneseo back in this game here. Super active. Love the hustle plays for Worth. Has done a good job on both ends of the floor. 9 on the offensive end tonight to lead the way here for Geneseo. And the senior not wanting this to be her last game.
Obviously very emotional for any senior that could be playing in their final games in their career. Some may be moving to the next level, but others, this may be it. Time to leave it all on the floor. Griffin moving it around. Beach will play pitch and catch. Kreiner drove in. Back out. Kelly up and in. Took a couple of bounces, and now it's a 6-point game. Minute 20 to go. Geneseo fans start to make a little bit of noise.
Geneseo's done a good job of holding Washington at 38 here really for the last 2 or 3 minutes. And as soon as I speak, there it goes. Avery Tibbs dials up another one from the parking lot and just really continues to slam the door of momentum whenever Geneseo looks like they're gonna get back into this game.
Geneseo had been really starting to control some momentum in the past couple minutes, but Avery Tibbs had enough space to throw the ball towards the hoop, and that's enough for her. Shades of Stephen Curry.
Now we're seeing a shooting clinic being put on by the freshman here tonight, as she's got 17 to lead all scorers. As she has hit big shot tonight time and time again for Washington.
And in general in basketball, probably Tibbs is among some of the best freshmen in their freshman campaign in terms of success to come through in a long while. You know, you think maybe sometimes you got a freshman that's already got some good size, some good height, but Tibbs, just the ability to hit three ball.
Absolutely. I like her confidence too. You know, Gavin, she's in the starting lineup. Whenever she gets the ball, she's always looking to be aggressive and score. And whenever the ball touches her hands and she's got any room behind the three-point arc, she lets it fly. And that's exactly what Washington needs. And I'm sure that's what Kim Barth, was telling her before the season started, that she's going to be an integral part of this team and be a big part of their success.
Under 30 seconds to go. Washington trying to end the third quarter with a bang. They're going to hold for the last shot. Both sides of the crowd start to get a bit loud. 10 seconds now. Time to make something happen. Tibbs looks at the clocks. Makes a move. Steps over for three. Got it. Avery Tibbs on fire.
The freshman put the senior Worth in the blender. Catches her off guard right into the three. Avery Tibbs, have yourself a night. The freshman growing up right here tonight in front of us, Gavin. My goodness, what a quarter.
You're right, Orange Crush. She is a freshman and doing a great job here in her freshman campaign, her first look at sectional basketball. We're going to step aside a quick break for Updrink.
When you're ready to buy a used car or truck, we'll make it happen at every Updrink Auto Group dealer. With our best selection of budget and bargain cars in over a year and prices and payments you can afford. Special financing is available and you can drive home today. UpdrinkAutoGroup.com.
Welcome back to Richwoods High School. Appreciate our great sponsor Updrink for supporting tonight's game. Our great sponsor is Domino's.
When you're ready to buy
Domino's
a used car or truck, we'll make it happen at every Updrink Auto Group dealer. With our best selection of budget and bargain cars in over a year and prices and payments you can afford. Special financing is available and you can drive home today. UpdrinkAutoGroup.com.
Other great favorites. Always something good at Domino's for you to eat, and I'm pretty hungry myself, so I might be making a stop there after the game. But one of these teams is trying to make a stop in the sectional final. 1 quarter left to go. And already off to an interesting start. Brock Stotler, Gavin Russell on the call with you. Looks like there's some perspiration on the court. While you have a bit of a break here, Brock, Avery Tibbs really getting that Washington crowd going at the end of the third quarter with a big three. She's up to 20 points. Doing everything right.
Yeah, absolutely, and it looked like, just like it looked when Washington was going to be stuck on a number. They were on 38 for a while there in that third quarter. Avery Tibbs dials up 2 from deep, and Washington back up by 10 here. And Geneseo, every time they get within a finger's distance, Washington pushes them back to arm's length.
Looks like Washington's going to be more than content to just chew some clock away.
And that's the luxury you get afforded when you're up 10 here in the fourth quarter, as Tibbs, boy, every time she touches the ball, Gavin, I just get ready to go nuts. I expect her to shoot it.
You would think she would. It doesn't matter where she is on the floor. I would probably trust her to take a three from just about anywhere. Her or McDougal, if we get to a situation for a half-court shot or a buzzer beater, probably one of those two players, and I might tonight have to lean toward Tibbs.
Yeah, she's had the hot hand certainly tonight. And if you're Washington, I really like this strategy here on offense. Force Geneseo to hunker down and play defense for 20, 30 seconds at a time. Test their discipline. You know they're going to get antsy. They're down 10. And look at that, Tibbs, another one in the corner. Geneseo keeps losing number 2. Need to put a neon sign on her, Gavin.
She's stealth in the black uniforms tonight. They can't find her.
She's just hiding in the corner, and all of a sudden she pops out and she's wide open and just keeps shooting dagger after dagger at Geneseo tonight. And boy, Annie Worth has really done a good job here tonight for Geneseo. Gavin has made the hustle plays to try and keep her team in this game here, and the senior going to need a lot more of them here.
She will, and Worth up to 11 now. But it's not, again, all about the scoring. It's about, you mentioned those hustle plays, other ways to stock the stat sheet. She's got a number of steals and rebounds tonight. Timeout Maple Leafs. So they're down 11. And Brock, we're no stranger to excellent comebacks on ClutchSportsIsle.com, but where does it have to start for Geneseo? Maybe if to highlight one point, what do you start with out of this timeout to try to mount the comeback?
Well, I think you got to get a highlighter or something and get a mark on Avery Tibbs so you don't lose her on defense. I think that's the first thing. And really, I think you got to put pressure on the ball handler, see if you can get a couple steals and some runouts here. You really have to ratchet it up on the defensive end of the floor. You can't allow Washington to just play hot potato with it around the horn. You got to get up into them, make the passes tough, make the passing lanes contested. It starts on the defensive end of the floor here. Geneseo can score as much as they want on offense, but if they're not getting stops on the other end of the floor, it's not going to matter much. So it's got to start on defense. You got to hunker down there and start to string some stops together if you're the Leafs.
That's what it's all about. And they have, I believe, just one timeout left. They do. So just one timeout left to work with. Last-ditch effort in the final 6.5 for Geneseo. But Washington will try to negate that effort. Moving it around, and you mentioned hot potato. They'll try to do just that. They're not going to take a shot unless they feel pretty confident in it. Vaughn back out, and Tibbs on the logo.
Worth tried to get one there, unable to do so. But that's the kind of, I don't want to say, those are the kind of chances you have to take if you're Geneseo on those long passes across the floor. Take a chance, try and shoot the passing lane and see if you can get your hand on something. It's getting to be desperation time here for Geneseo.
Mia Kelly can't get the shot to go.
And there's another one of those plays right there from Worth. Big play for Geneseo. They've got to pay it off on the offensive end of the floor here, though, Gavin.
Got to score.
Washington has just made things so difficult. And Kimmler fouls Worth there. Good move from Worth. And she's really been the only Maple Leaf in the second half here that's made a consistent effort.
Really getting in those passing lanes. A chance to cut it down to 9. And try to cut it to 10 now. Worth, a senior, along with 4 others. She's one of 5 seniors. Worth's second one is good. Both teams something in common, 5 seniors apiece. They've had several common opponents this season. Both teams have played Morton. Both teams have matched up with Galesburg, Normal West. So these teams have played a similar schedule. Block right there. They had a chance to play each other earlier this season as both teams at the State Farm Holiday Classic. They didn't end up matching up.
I believe Geneseo was knocked off. I'm trying to find it here. Hyde Park from Chicago in that State Farm Holiday Classic as Worth almost comes up with yet another one there. And Addie Kimmler, how big has she been here in this second half, Gavin? Not really making an impact in the scoring column, but has been insurmountable on the glass and on the defensive end of the floor here tonight for Washington.
She has been spectacular. Really the glue of this Washington fabric. Second is rather the and one is up and good. So she's up to 6. Made a couple of nice baskets, but again, rebounds and defense have been her game tonight. Up and no good. Beach can't get it to go. McDougal comes out with it.
And there's Tibbs again, Gavin.
Couldn't get that one to go. Showing she's human after all. She'll get another chance at it. Just off. Couple of good looks for Avery Tibbs. She's had a fantastic night. 23 on the game. Beach carries the ball.
It's just a deflating turnover there if you're Geneseo. One of the ones you just rarely see called in high school, carrying or palming. And just a deflating turnover to give the ball right back to Washington.
Obviously a tough call, but the right one.
Yeah, certainly.
Tibbs didn't get that one to go, but there's a foul and no, a timeout. Washington will take a timeout. Kim Barth wants to talk things over in the final 4 minutes of regulation. Coming up in the next game is Galesburg and Peoria High girls, as the winner of this game will play the winner of that game on Thursday evening. It'll be here on ClutchSportsAl.com. And how about a little programming guide coming for you in the upcoming days? It is a busy week of basketball in Central Illinois, Brock. Tomorrow, doubleheader boys regionals at both Peoria and Washington, as we'll have coverage of both of those on ClutchSportsAl.com and CIProud.com. There's going to be some great games there. We'll have the regional championships on Friday. If you're a Bradley fan, Bradley men's play on Sunday. Chance to maybe win the conference title. I mean, this is an elite week of basketball in Central Illinois.
Yeah, everything, all the stars have aligned for this to be an electric weekend. And if this first game is any indication of how the rest of the week's going to go, you Peoria basketball fans are in for an absolute treat, as we've got good basketball coming the rest of the week, and really the rest of the rest of the way down the stretch here. There's really no bad game in March, Gavin, and we've seen that here. Even if it's not March, but we call this the Illinois, the high school March Madness. So really never a bad game in March.
Never is. March got started a little early for IHSA basketball, and soon enough we'll be in March, which is in fact the 3rd month of the year, and it's hard to believe we're almost there. Foul right there, almost in the bonus. Next foul will put Geneseo over the limit. But again, a great week of basketball in Central Illinois, and the Clutch Sports Media team is going to do our best to bring you as much coverage as possible. 4 games tomorrow night between 2 regionals. Sectional championships and regional championships coming your way.
Claire McDougal just dribbling circles right now here in the dungeon, as Washington continues to let time just churn away, and they're perfectly content doing so, as it looks like they have a ticket to the sectionals about as close to being punched as you can get here, Gavin.
They're going to try to do just that, and Washington would love to go a little bit farther than just the sectional. They'd like to make a super sectional appearance, a state appearance, head down to Illinois State University, which happens to no longer be Redbird Arena, Sefq Arena now.
Yeah, it feels weird to even call it that. The Staples Center had its name changed recently too. I believe it's Crypto.com Arena. That doesn't even sound remotely right to say, but yeah, I've been calling it Redbird Arena for as long as I can remember, and that includes my 4 years on the hilltop as well.
And I think I'm just going to keep calling it Redbird Arena just for the sake of it. I mean, I still call the Staples Center Staples Center.
I mean, yeah. Well, they'll know what you're talking about. They'll get it. Yeah, absolutely. It's just like you said. Yeah, some of those. So it just doesn't feel right to say that it's the names have changed.
Times are changing. Carly Vaughn trying to add some insurance to their lead right now as they're headed towards a victory. 3 minutes to go. Just picked up the pace in the second half. Avery Tibbs 23. She's not done yet, but I'd have to imagine Kim Barth would probably get some bench players in there pretty soon. Didn't hit anything. 3 minutes to go. Claire McDougall will dribble around with it.
Just no panic in Washington right now. Every time Geneseo sends a double team, they're patient. They don't panic.
How about Worth, though?
Worth is the exception there, as she just has been a one-woman wrecking crew here in the second half for Geneseo, doing everything she can to try and get them back in the game.
Worth has played outstanding.
Now you really have to applaud the effort here from the senior tonight, Gavin.
Extra effort award goes to both Worth and to Addie Kimmler for their efforts this evening. Worth with 12 points. That's a good showing. Maybe she'd like a few more, but she's gotten it done on the glass. I'd probably say she could be in line for a double-double. You never know. Have to look at the official stats later. She's played very, very well. Here is Worth. Up and fouled, so she'll go back to the stripe. Addie Kimmler doesn't like the call. Brock, if we're looking like Washington's gonna take this victory home, what do you do now in this last 2:23 to start preparing for a matchup Thursday with either Galesburg or Peoria High?
Oh man, I think if you're Washington here, even these minutes and these blowouts are still valuable, and you can learn lessons from them. If Geneseo is going to put Washington at the free throw line, maybe you focus on making your free throws. Some of these late game execution situations where it might not necessarily matter in this game, but you get down the line into a sectional championship, into a super sectional game where it is super tight. Maybe you find yourself at a tie ball game or down late, and you practice that execution. Even in these blowouts, there's always something valuable to find in these games.
Indeed there is. Free throw shooting has got to be one of them. The way you finish a game can impact the way you start the next one. And they'll have their hands full either way. Whether it's the Lions from Peoria or the Silver Streaks of Galesburg.
Yeah, absolutely. This Peoria Richwoods sectional has really been a gauntlet, and whoever comes out of this sectional is going to put themselves in a really good position and put the rest of the state of Illinois in Class 3A on notice that the winner of the state title in Class 3A might just come out of this sectional.
Very likely, and stolen again by Worth. She's got to be up to about 5. Dumps it off. 2-pointer, no good, but very likely that state contender could come right out of this sectional. Again, there's a lot of great teams around Illinois. Maybe a couple of 3A teams from our area we're not seeing this year. Morton, of course, has been to the state tournament a number of times. Peoria, Notre Dame. They've already been knocked out, so maybe a chance for a couple new teams to shine. And Claire McDougall throws it up and in. Timeout. Geneseo, they'll burn their last one, and have to imagine we'll see some of the bench empties.
Yeah, Claire McDougall puts a finishing touch, no pun intended there, puts a finishing touch on this game. An absolute masterclass performance here tonight from Washington. After a back and forth first quarter that really saw Geneseo up early and have a little bit of control, was quickly snatched back by Washington, and it has been all them here in this second half.
Sure has. Appreciate you joining us here on ClutchBoardsIsle.com. Brock Stoutler, Gavin Russell, and the rest of our crew. Patrick Hubert and Charlie Schermerhorn on the cameras. The man on the sticks, John Dog, Jonathan Michael. He's got that dog in him tonight. Gives me a woof from behind the control unit. Doing a great job. Kenny Clifton on the sidelines, so check our social media pages. Have some great content coming your way shortly. Paco Alonso, Teddy Ball also out here. Got some subs in here. O'Brien, Mole in for the Panthers. Williams, Hart, Redling Schaefer in for the Panthers. Addison Smith, Johanna Fulcher in for the Geneseo Maple Leafs as we're going to begin to wind this one up. Going to be a big win for Washington. Second year in a row, Brock, Washington has gotten the better of the Maple Leafs in a playoff game.
Yeah, they've been really the thorn in the side of two really good Geneseo teams the past two seasons, especially the team last year. I don't know if you necessarily want to call that an upset. Both teams certainly more than capable, but Geneseo was the number 1 seed in the sectional last year when Washington knocked them off 61-51. And Geneseo was had a 31-2 overall record that season. So really a dominant 2-year period here for Geneseo, but Washington has played spoiler to that here as Washington is back in the sectional championship for a second straight year where they await the winner of Galesburg and Peoria High.
What a victory from the Panthers. 23 for the freshman Avery Tibbs. McDougal in double figures. On the other side, Annie Worth had an outstanding game in her final game as a Maple Leaf. She had 16 for Geneseo. Number of steals and rebounds. Brock, player of the game, what do you got for us?
I mean, you can't give it to anybody other than Avery Tibbs, I feel like, Gavin. She really shot the life out of Geneseo in that third quarter, hit a number of big shots throughout the game, especially in that third quarter when Washington really put their foot down and blew the doors off the game here. So I think Avery Tibbs has to be your player of the game in what was a massive win here in Richwoods, the Dungeon for Washington.
Indeed. We're going to send it to a quick break and back for some final recap here on ClutchBoardsIsle.com.
Find your next used car at every Uftring Auto Group dealer with a diverse selection for everyone. Many with low miles and remaining factory warranties. You'll feel good about your Uftring used car because if we wouldn't sell it to our family, we wouldn't sell it to you. UftringAutoGroup.com.
Welcome back to Richwoods as victorious Washington leaves the floor to a standing ovation from the traveling supporters here to Richwoods tonight. We'll get a quick break for our great sponsor, Domino's. Domino's, thanks for jumping on board with ClutchBoardsIsle.com and local high school athletics. 20 area locations across Central Illinois, 4 located in Peoria. Domino's has something for everyone. Everyone wins. It says there on your screen. Try some of their new classics like loaded tots along with some old favorites. Pizza, wings, sides, and much more. I'm getting hungry, Brock. It's time for some Domino's, and maybe you're hungry too. So pick it up on your way home from work. Maybe you're leaving the game tonight. Wherever you may be, check out your local Domino's location. Brock, you mentioned Avery Tibbs, your player of the game for the Panthers. But again, it was just an excellent showing overall. Panthers made the hustle plays when they needed to, and in a sectional semifinal to win by as much as they did, I mean, that's got to be some huge momentum going into their next game.
Yeah, absolutely. And for Washington tonight, it was really a team effort. I think if you would have told Coach Kim Barth the way this game would have played out, that Claire McDougal would finish with 11 points and you'd win this game by almost 20 points, I think she'd say sign me up every day of the week and twice on Sunday, as the role players around Claire McDougall came alive tonight. Great contributions from Addie Kimmler. Carly Vaughn had some big shots in the first half on a couple back-to-back 3 possessions there in the first half for Vaughn. Obviously, Tibbs was great all night, really big in that third quarter. Becca McDougall chipped in with a little bit in the scoring and rebounding column as well. So really top from bottom, Washington tonight, a great group effort. And if you're Geneseo, you know, you come away shaking your head after another great season here as they fall to Washington yet again in the sectional semifinal.
Geneseo will try to retool and be back next year. Washington will try to move on and play the winner of one of these teams that you see there on your screen. The Lions, the pride of the city, not making a far trip as they'll try to move on to the sectional finals. They'll take on the challengers out of Galesburg. The Silver Streaks will try to pull off a win as well. That's going to about do it here for the first game of the doubleheader in Richwoods High School. Washington victorious in the matchup, 58-41 over Geneseo. For Brock Stotler, Jonathan Michael, Charlie Schumerhorn, Patrick Huber, Paco Alonso, Teddy Ball, Kenny Clifton, and our great Clutch Sports media staff back in the studio. Appreciate you tuning into the first game. We'll be back in just a few minutes for Peoria High and Galesburg on ClutchSportsIL.com.